So, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, there was a Ubisoft live event that went over a hell of a lot of things I do not care about, and of course Assassin's Creed Mirage with a story and gameplay showcase. The story video was alright, but I'm focusing on the gameplay footage, because the story can be very good, but the gameplay is what you're doing for the majority of the game. So I'm more interested in looking into that in detail. I'm gonna go through all the positives and the negatives that I've seen in the main gameplay showcase, and explain my reasons for putting them into one of these two categories. Because trust me, there are plenty of pretty great things going on, but there are definitely a few dodgy elements too. So to start out, I wanted to just say that the game looks very clean and very packed with detail. It was never an issue that I was really worried about, but it's nice to see anyway. As Basim, the character we play as, moves through the city, we get an idea of what the NPCs, enemies, and some of the interactable environments are. Some of the environments are for evading enemies, and some are just for parkour. Which, speaking of parkour, it looks pretty good for the most part. And I appreciate the amount of places to climb up onto with the scaffolding, ramps, and bars to swing on. It allows for more freedom when traversing the map, which is always a good thing in an Assassin's Creed game. It's much better than having to spend ages traveling between empty landscapes like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But I digress. I noticed that on the bottom right of the screen there's a sort of notoriety bar that has 3 different levels to them. The first one I think is people are aware of you and they're looking for you. The second one is that they're getting ready to fire and getting ready to attack you. And the third one means that you've been seen and you're about to get in a fight. And I think it's, pretty cool. I hope that they have the posters that you have to take down, like in the earlier games, in the Ezio games, just so that your notoriety is lowered and you don't get spotted all the time. So that's a very cool little detail. Continuing on, the general visuals look pretty good, like I said before, and there isn't really much that they could improve on, except for the animations. More specifically, the flow of the animations. Now don't get me wrong, the animations themselves are very well made. They fit with the character well, and it does appear to be more swift, like how an assassin should be. However, there is a problem with the transitions between the animations. Now you might think I'm talking out of my ass, but hear me out. When Basim is jumping onto something, he for some reason stops for a second before going into the next step. And for some people that might not seem like an issue, but they are wrong. This does break the fluidity and momentum of the parkour, and I hope that it's only an issue because it's not the full build of the game yet. So they might be tweaking it, but still, it is an issue that needs to be fixed before they consider releasing the game. If it doesn't feel or look very nice to play, then for a lot of people, me included, will not really want to play the game. That's why when I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Eivor was slow as hell and the parkour was not that fun, so I just didn't bother playing the game. So yeah, they better fix that, mate. I hope they fix it. Please fix it. Adding on to the parkour, some of the people behind the game said that the parkour system is easy to learn and easy to master, and that their approach to the parkour was more akin to the Ezio games. But in my opinion, I think they're talking out of their ass, man. Because the Ezio games weren't easy to master. You could learn it, anyone could learn the simple stuff, but if you really wanted to glide across the city rooftops like an absolute G, then you would need to have some mastery and understanding on the parkour system. It had some depth to it, and from what I'm seeing, it has some type of minute depth to it, but it reminds me of games like Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, where you hold a button and you just keep going forward and think nothing else of it. Now, to some people it might not seem like such a big deal, and what's the problem? But if you have a city like Baghdad, where it's tight-knit and it's compact, you would think that there would be more depth and more opportunity to expand the parkour system. And that was one thing that I found a little bit concerning. But I'm gonna hope for the best. I'm going to be optimistic. And I really want Ubisoft to actually put in some work into this game and not just abandon it and make it crap. Speaking of crap, In games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, sometimes when you were in a cutscene, the characters would look funny and also not move in a very natural way, basically saying that they were just animated poorly and didn't use motion capture suits. And in this bureau scene, the characters, they don't look finished yet again. I will give the benefit of the doubt. It's an early build, or a earlier build than what the final release will be, but still, there's something about it sort of cartoonish or robotic about it. I don't know how to describe it, but the characters don't really move the way people would move. They do these little movements that are unnatural, basically. But, besides that, the bureau looks pretty cool. I like how they had a tool or weapons area and a mission select in the same building. It's reminiscent of Masyaf Castle in Assassin's Creed 1 or Villa Auditore in, the Ezio trilogy, and I think the Homestead in Assassin's Creed 3 also had elements like that. The missions, they have certain gear and things you can use to probably upgrade your weapons, so that gives incentive for players to actually play the side missions, which I like. Also, quick note, I don't think there's any dialogue options in this game, which is good. I'd rather just enjoy a story rather than having to input some random crap, so that's good, because I thought that was really gross in the other two games. Before we continue with the rest of the trailer, I just gotta say, I'm looking forward to the visuals, pretty cool, man. So as you can see, Basim is sitting on a bench that says to spend some time. So that means like fast forwarding into the day, so it's night. And also when he gets up, there's an option to hide. And I like that. That's another one of those old features from the older games that really should have been in the whole series in general. But it's nice to see here anyway. Continuing on, we get to see Basim walking up to a little ledge and perching, and then he calls his bird Enkidu to survey the area. But, hear me out, the bird gets shot out of the sky. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I don't know why guards would do that. If a bird flies over, it's not like it's gonna, start walking and say, oh, you can't do that, mate, and then shoot everyone up. So the realism's not really there, but yet again, we are talking about an assassin game that's really a memory. But, it doesn't matter. It's still cool, nice to see little details like that, and, I won't complain. But yeah, the bird gets shot, and so Basim realizes he has to go in and survey it himself. And what I like to see is that there are different entrances that you can use. You can use the front entrance and go in the more loud way, or you can go a more sneaky route, and I like that. There's more choice and player input when it comes to how you want to approach a certain mission. If you want to go sneaky or if you want to be loud. It also makes me feel more like an assassin actually being there, having to decide, do I have to go through here, or is it better if I go through here? And stuff like that, I appreciate very much. Now, I don't know if this was in any of the previous games, or at least to this amount of detail, but after Basim falls into the leaves and approaches these three women, he tells them to continue their conversation, and they start stuttering, but then they do. They listen to him and continue their conversation, and I thought that was really interesting, and I don't think I've seen that in any other assassin game. I think how the older games did it was that the assassin just approached and the characters, the NPCs, didn't really say anything. But I think this is the first time where they applied that, and that's also the case when Basim shoots a guard with a blow dart and he actually makes noises like he's uncomfortable or in pain. I like that. I like those little more realistic details in a game. It makes you feel like you're actually in a world and not just in a game. Apparently the detection system that the enemies use to see the player has been improved, and I couldn't really see much of it in this gameplay, but when they did the Back to the Roots video, that's when they showed a little bit of the improvements, but it's not really in this trailer, so I can't really say much. But I guess the guards don't see you out of nowhere like Valhalla. God, Valhalla really didn't do any good, did it? Something that I like about this footage especially is the amount of uses the weapon wheel gets, or the tools in the weapon wheel gets, and it shows a lot of different ways of going through a level or an area, if you be more accurate. You can use a poison bomb or a blow dart or a throwing knife to get to where you need to, and I like how they're emphasizing it a lot, especially when you can throw a throwing knife after you've assassinated one person, like a chain assassination if you will. Oh, and also I like how the hidden blade is now a one-shot kill this time, and not like weird system where you could or could not get it first try. It should be first try. The hidden blade has always been a one-hit kill, and it's always been used and reserved for when you're sneaking and stuff like that. When you're using it in combat, for example, then you need multiple hits for it. But if you're being stealthy, it should always be one shot in my opinion. And look here, I appreciate how they're actually making the eagle vision the way it used to, where you would click a button and it would hold, and that it wasn't a ping like in Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey, or Valhalla. Because I didn't really like that system. It kind of made sense in the context of the story, like as if, they weren't really assassins, so they didn't have that training. But I think now that you actually play as an assassin, it makes more sense to have the traditional eagle vision. It's just a better tool in general. And this is where the game goes downhill for me, and for people who have self-respect for themselves and people who actually like the older games. And I will explain it. There is a very big issue with this gameplay that I don't really like the look of. This chain assassination really took me out of the immersion and made me worried about what other strange ideas they were planning to add to the game. This would have looked so much better if they made it look like the Fear multi-takedown from Arkham Knight, the Batman game, where you can actually see the character moving between the enemies. But this crap is just total and utter ass breath, and it really, you can probably tell by the way I'm describing it that it's really not making me happy at all. It's quite revolting. They might call it an artistic decision, but I think it's more of an autistic decision. And I know someone is going to say, oh, well, this game is on a character that doesn't exist from a group of assassins that never existed. But that's not the point. The point of these games is that you get to play as different assassins throughout different histories. And that you get to be an assassin, get to act like one, get to fight like one, get to kill like one, get to strategize like one. But this is quite grotesque, and I don't know why they would add this when so many people disliked the mythical features from the previous two games. It's just not intelligente, if you ask me. Now, I'm sorry for the rant, but this abomination to my eyes really left a bad taste in my mouth. Or is it in my eyes? But eyes don't have taste buds. Anyway, after Basim took out the enemies, he pulls out what looks to be a poison bomb and throws it towards a guard. Again, I like how they're showing off the weapons. And I know it isn't like the previous games never had it, but I like how they're emphasizing the importance of using weapons like these to survive. It's neat, And I like the dynamic camera for the assassination. I hope it isn't just for this gameplay presentation, but an actual thing in the game. It gives an added flair and a sense of completion when it's there. Strangely, there is no memory corridor for this target. Maybe because it's just a dusty little run, or maybe it's because it's a side mission and, the character isn't, a real threat to the story. Maybe it's just a side mission where you just get materials to upgrade your gear. But still, I wanted to, I was just thinking, I was like, why the hell didn't it happen? Throughout this trailer, I've noticed that Basim is able to quickly throw a smoke bomb, poison bomb, and knives without needing to bring the weapon wheel up. This is an improvement from some of the older games where you had to click through multiple button presses in order to select the correct weapon, which made it tedious and easy to just not use them, because you'd have to pause the game, figure it out, and then unpause the game and then continue. And it's just a bit long. But this is a good system that they have here. Speaking of a good use of weapons, I think the parry/stun move is pretty sexy, and it gives the player an incentive to try and block at the right time, so that the enemy is open for a one-shot kill, further improving on the combat experience. Apparently, some of the geezers behind this game say that the combat has been expanded on and improved to fit with Basim as a character, who's generally more swift and careful. However, it is most likely that being anonymous and stealthy is Basim's preferred method of dealing with situations. Now, this could be total ass crack for all I know, but I am hoping that this is true. A lot of what they are saying behind the scenes is that they are looking at the Ezio trilogy of games as inspiration for the traversal, combat, and the stealth. And is it just me, or does it sound like they're only saying this stuff so that people get interested in the game? Now, I'd love to be wrong. I'd like all of these features to be implemented properly and well into the game and it making sense, unlike Valhalla, where they only added it because, the main focus was to make it a Viking game. I mean, it's true. You can't tell me I'm wrong. It's a Viking game with Assassin's Creed elements in it. And I'm worried that this game might still have stuff like that. Like, obviously, they are improving it much more. This is an Assassin's Creed game. I know that for sure. But I'm worried that some of these features they're only adding because people told them to. But I have to be cautiously optimistic. This is Ubisoft after all, and obviously I'd love to be proven wrong, but I have to be very cautious. I don't want to get overexcited. But besides that, generally this game looks pretty interesting. I can't lie. I mean, Basim, his outfit looks cool, the location looks cool, the combat and the stealth and all those little things, they look pretty cool, pretty engaging, pretty interesting. And yes, it does make me want to get the game. Now sure, there might be little problems here, little problems there, but I'm sure they can change that and improve on it for the actual release of the game. I am hoping they actually fix the stuff and don't just leave it. So yeah, tell me what you guys think about this footage in the comment section below. Do you like what you see? Do you think there's anything they could improve on? Is there anything you'd like added to the game that wasn't shown in the footage? Or do you think this is a terrible game and that they're just going to do the same thing as they have done for the last few years? And yeah, that's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to support me in this channel, then please smash the like button. Ring the notification bell and put it to all so you are always notified of when I post a video on this channel. And if you really would like to, then share this video with your friends or whoever you'd want, because it further helps me gain viewership, and if they subscribe then it helps boost and support my channel even more. And also, it's pretty, it'd be nice. Come on, just do me solid and do all 4 of those things. Maybe good things will happen to you. Maybe you'll have some good luck if you do it, or maybe you'll get that thing that you've been asking for. I don't know, but just do it, because why not? And yeah, that's all I've got for you, and I'll see you guys very, very, very soon. Peace. Aha! I found you. Do not leave quite yet. I want to give a little message, which is that I am very grateful for the amount of views that I received in my last video and the amount of subscribers that I've gained from it as well. I finally passed 100 subscribers in about 4 years, so that's pretty good. And as of recording, that previous video has 8.2k views, which is absolutely delightful, mate. One little note, maybe, if you liked the video, then subscribe, because, help me out. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, then, I can actually earn money, and, I won't be bullied into getting a job, but, do whatever you want, but subscribe. If you don't subscribe, I'll come to your house and I'll hunt you down, alright? This is not a joke, this is real life.